In the heart of a dense and ancient forest, far from the comforts of civilization, there lived a man named Samuel. He was an avid adventurer who loved to explore the wilderness, and one fateful day, he embarked on a journey deeper into the woods than he had ever gone before. Samuel's backpack was filled with essentials: food, water, a map, and a compass. He was confident in his abilities and had often ventured into the wilderness alone. However, this time, the forest seemed different, as if it had a mind of its own. As the hours passed, Samuel realized that he was no longer on the path he had been following. Panic began to set in as he looked around at the towering trees, their branches interlocking like gnarled fingers against the darkening sky. The forest canopy blocked out the sun, casting an eerie twilight that sent shivers down his spine. Samuel relied on his compass, but it seemed to spin wildly, offering no clear direction. He decided to retrace his steps, but the trail behind him had vanished, as if it had never existed. He was truly lost. Night fell, and with it came a profound sense of isolation. The forest was alive with strange sounds, the hooting of owls, the rustling of leaves, and distant, eerie whispers that seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves. Samuel huddled beneath a makeshift shelter he fashioned from branches and leaves, trying to ignore the mounting fear that gnawed at his heart. In the days that followed, Samuel's situation grew dire. He rationed his meager supplies, but they dwindled quickly. His once confident spirit was now plagued by hunger, thirst, and the relentless sense of being watched. He began to suspect that he was not alone in the woods. One night, as he lay shivering beneath his leafy shelter, Samuel heard a voice. It was faint and distant, like a spectral whisper carried on the wind. "Help me," it said, over and over again. Samuel's heart pounded in his chest as he tried to locate the source of the voice. It seemed to come from all directions, echoing through the forest. Driven by a mixture of fear and curiosity, Samuel ventured deeper into the woods, following the ethereal voice. With each step, the forest grew darker, and the voice grew louder, until it felt as if it were inside his very mind. He stumbled upon an ancient, moss-covered stone altar, surrounded by gnarled trees and eerie, flickering shadows. And there, on the altar, lay a tattered map. It was unlike any map Samuel had ever seen before, marked with cryptic symbols and runes. Desperation pushed him to take the map, hoping it might lead him out of the forest. As he continued to follow the voice and the map's strange symbols, he came upon a clearing bathed in an otherworldly, pale light. In the center of the clearing stood a towering oak tree, its branches stretching toward the heavens like skeletal fingers. At the base of the tree, Samuel found a weathered journal. The journal belonged to a man named Tobias, who, like Samuel, had become lost in the woods many years ago. Samuel read the chilling accounts of Tobias's experiences, the same whispers, the same disorienting compass, and the same haunting voice. Tobias had discovered the stone altar and the mysterious map, just as Samuel had. He had become convinced that the forest was a sentient entity, a malevolent force that fed on the fear and despair of those it ensnared. He believed that the only way to escape the forest's grasp was to find the source of the voice and confront it. As Samuel delved deeper into the journal, he realized that the forest had claimed Tobias's sanity. The final pages were filled with feverish scribblings, desperate pleas, and incoherent ramblings. Terrified by what he had read, Samuel decided to leave the journal behind and continued following the map. The voice grew louder, more insistent, and it seemed to beckon him toward a nightmarish climax. Days turned into weeks, and Samuel's journey became a descent into madness. He encountered strange phenomena, trees that moved, shadows that whispered, and a pervasive sense of dread that hung in the air like a heavy fog. Eventually, he reached the heart of the forest, a place where the trees loomed impossibly tall, their trunks twisted and contorted into grotesque shapes. The voice was now a deafening roar in his head, drowning out all rational thought. In the center of this surreal nightmare stood a colossal, ancient oak tree, its branches swaying with an otherworldly rhythm. Samuel approached it, compelled by an irresistible force. As he reached out to touch the tree, the world around him dissolved into a swirling maelstrom of darkness and madness. And then, Samuel was gone. The forest remained, its secrets hidden within its shadowy depths, waiting for the next lost wanderer to stumble upon its malevolent embrace. In the heart of the unforgiving wilderness, where the boundaries of reality blur and the forces of nature seem to conspire against the lost and the desperate, Samuel's fate became intertwined with the enigmatic forest, forever shrouded in mystery and darkness.